So if you're in the market for a four-door V8 sedan right now, right, who do you turn to? Like, what manufacturer would give you exactly what you're looking for? Now, we know Chevy was in the game, with GM as a whole. They was in the game with the Chevy SS, and they also had some other cars like the Pontiacs and stuff like that, that would satisfy your four-door V8 itch, right? And we know Dodge State killing the market with their Charger, right? We know how they was going. But outside of that, right now, what manufacturer is going to offer what you look for? Who would give you a four-door V8 sedan, like a brand new one right now, right? Of course, Cadillac is an option, but of course you're going to pay about $100,000 for that car. And also you got, I think Mercedes has one or a few, or BMW has a few and things like that. But of course now you're going to get into more pricier cars. But we may have a new player in the game when it comes to the four-door V8 sedan, right? We may have something to replace the Charger. So let's go ahead and get into the video. Let's talk about it. Today's video is brought to you by CarLock, the world's best GPS tracking and alert system. With CarLock, you'll be able to get various alerts to monitor your car, such as vehicle movement, vehicle vibrations, engine starting. The unfortunate event that your CarLock gets disconnected, you will get an alert for that too. You can purchase your own CarLock by clicking on the link down below. That will give you a 10% discount on your CarLock purchase, as well as use my code to get a 14-day free trial with CarLock as well. Get you a CarLock. You deserve that peace of mind. Let's get into the video. YouTube family, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in to this particular video. If you are new here, we do a lot of car related things on this channel, and you tune in to the right place for all of that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. For those of you that have subscribed already, big salute to you all for doing so, but we will not hold you too long. Let's go ahead and hop into today's video. So you can tell I'm trying out a totally different setup when it comes to some of my videos. I typically do, my videos when I'm just talking to you guys, I do it in my car. Of course, I know the summer is about over and things like that, but sometimes it gets hot in there, or it does get hot in there a lot. And sometimes I usually do the POV videos and things like that. So I'm just trying to bring a different element to my channel, and going to try to do some videos from the office, right? So got my setup here, so I apologize if anything sounds different or whatnot. Still getting used to doing it like this. Got my microphone, all that stuff set up, so bear with me with this. I'm gonna be tinkering with some things to try to get the setup just right for everybody. But let's go ahead and get into the video. You see the title and you see the thumbnail, right? As I stated at the top of the video, it looks like Ford, they actually announced this maybe some time ago here, that they are looking or going to hop into the four-door game. So it looks like they're going to add a four-door V8 car to their lineup, segment of the market that Dodge is kind of left void right now, but Ford is going to hop into that lane, right? And one thing I want to talk about is I think this is something that can be very successful if done right. So I want to talk about a couple of points with that, my thoughts on it. And also kind of want to mention what this does mean for Ford by them going this route and taking their Mustang that's always been a two-door except for the Mach-E and turning it into a four-door sedan. So I know the Ford Mustang purists are going to be super mad, super ticked off that we'll be turning the Mustang into a four-door sedan. Now, this is something the Dodge and MOPAR people had to get over for quite some time, right? When they brought the Charger back, the Charger always been a two-door car, and they brought it back as a four-door sedan. Of course, at first it wasn't well received, but over time people got used to it. They got so used to seeing a Dodge Charger as a four-door that most people only see the Dodge Charger as a four-door car. They don't even remember that the Charger started off as a two-door car. Even so, to the fact that even with the new Dodge Charger that's coming out, they say, well, Dodge Chargers are supposed to have four doors. This is a Challenger because it has two doors. But the real MOPAR heads know that the Charger has been historically a two-door car up until recently with the current gen and what have you, right, to the modern era cars. Now you take the Mustang and do the same thing, assuming they're still gonna call it a Mustang. That could ruffle some feathers for sure. So now one thing when Ford going this route. This is probably be the biggest thing they can do, probably one of the smartest things they can do. And this is going to be proof from Dodge. If you look at Dodge and look at the sales that they got, compared the Charger to the Challenger. Now, keep in mind the Challenger is the car that is almost an identical retro, modern, retro looking muscle car for today, right? And the Charger doesn't really resemble the original Charger. However, the Charger almost doubles the Challenger in sales. The Charger is like so practical. A lot of people prefer the Charger over the Challenger. If you have a family, you can get the Charger. You still pretty much got the same car as a Challenger for most part. The interior is relatively the same, the same engine options and all of that stuff, right? And I can say that coming from a Challenger. I had a Challenger before, and now I'm in the Charger. And I can, when I first got in the car, like literally the same car on the inside, right? So you pretty much almost have the same car. If Ford goes down this path and does the same to the Mustang, we know the Mustang sales have been pretty good. It's been outselling the Challenger as of late. But by adding a four-door option, if they choose to still call it a Mustang, they are going to probably double their sales, assuming that the price point is right. Because we already know, usually when you go with a four-door car versus a two-door coupe, the four-door car is going to cost a little bit more than the two-door coupe. Kind of the same thing with the Challenger and the Charger, right? Ford does come out with this car for a fact. They are going to have sales like crazy, right? I do foresee that this car could be, I'm going to say the next Dodge Charger, it will be that popular, assuming they get the price point right. This car can't be some $60,000, $70,000 car. It has to be priced probably around the 50s or things like that. I know right now Mustang is kind of close to that right now, but if they can get that price point right, this car will sell really, really well, especially that there's not any other V8 sedans that are going to be affordable. I'm talking about brand new. We're not talking about like a used car or anything like that. They can really get on the market. Now, another opportunity by going and adding a four-door to their lineup, this is going to probably be one of their biggest money makers right here, is also police contracts, right? Right now, Ford does have some sort of a deal with, different police departments in their 5.0 Mustang. We know there's several departments out there that do run 5.0 Mustangs, the Mustang GT for their highway patrol units and whatnot. I know North Carolina has it, South Carolina has it, and probably a good bit of others have it as well. But when you offer a four-door option, that would give you the ability to sell even more. Now, I know Dodge does have a law enforcement division as well, where they they have contracts with different police departments and sell them cars. Now, mainly it was the Dodge Charger, but with that being gone, and maybe I don't think they really need a V8 option or whatnot, they may start looking elsewhere, especially if the Ford is going to come in with a four-door car that could be cheaper than the Charger. Let's not forget, Ford isn't new to these police contracts and what have you, right? We can talk about the Crown Vic. We all remember the Crown Victorias that Ford had, and they had pretty much every police car was a Crown Vic. So it won't be something new, and that definitely, helped with their sales. When you can pretty much sell hundreds and hundreds of cars just like that to one police department or even more, that's definitely going to help out your bottom dollar. Now, as a Charger driver, coming from a Challenger, there's one thing I do miss that my Charger doesn't have that my Challenger definitely had, and that was having a manual transmission. Now, there's not a lot of four-door sedans out there that you can get with the manual transmission, let alone a V8, right? Those are pretty scarce and hard to find unless you're going with some of the more expensive options that I named before. But if Ford does come out with this four-door Mustang and they throw the manual in there, they will also win. On top of that, some people over just for doing that. Like, I've never understood why Dodge never put the manual transmission in the Charger. It's the same engine, same transmission. The chassis is pretty much the same. Like, literally everything's about the car just the same as a Challenger. But for some reason, they decided against putting the manual transmission in the car. So, but if Ford does that, they got a winner. But the main thing is this, right? And this goes back to the name. I know I started talking about this at the beginning of the video, but should they still call it a Ford Mustang if it's a four-door car? Now, they did this with the Mach-E, and they did it with the Mach-E for a very specific reason, because the Mach-E actually helped, according to like some kind of EPA standards or something like that, because it was a Mustang, it helped lower that miles per gallon limit that they have to have, so it allowed them to keep producing V8 Mustangs. So if they do the same with this four-door Mustang, then that might also help as well, because of course they're probably going to offer like your Eco Boost. They're definitely going to offer you like your V6. I think the V6 is an Eco Boost. I can't recall. They're going to offer that. They may do a hybrid version or something of that nature. Maybe do an all electric version or whatever. But all of that's going to help with their EPA standards, so they can keep making more and more V8, something that a lot of companies couldn't figure out how to do. I'm looking at you, Dodge, but that can help keep them alive in this kind of muscle car war that's going. It's not really war really anymore. That's really a Ford thing. Nobody else doing muscle cars really, but it's going to let them keep doing what they're doing right now. But the biggest thing is this though, right? Should they still call it a Mustang? Should they still give this car the Mustang name like I was saying? Now, they do have some other options of cars that they could call it that they used to have, and maybe, make it something different, right? Of course, they can maybe call it a Crown Victoria. That's a name that's kind of well known, but maybe not as well known to a lot of people as a Mustang, right? They can go to the Ford Taurus. That was a car that came out like in the 90s that had a V8 option in one of their trims. There's a lot of other cars that they could call it, but the unfortunate thing about those other names, those names don't hold the same weight as the Mustang do, right? The Mustang name is recognizable by a lot of people, and by calling this car a Mustang, you automatically have the following in the marketing in place to push that car forward. If you call it something else, people may not gravitate towards it. For example, Chevy had a car called the Chevy SS. That car was not appreciated until it pretty much went out of production, right? I mean, I see people driving the Chevy SS a good bit now, but when it actually came out, a lot of people wasn't really rocking with the car. And to be honest, even though the SS is kind of like their name they put on a lot of cars, like the signify like a higher trim and things like that, it just didn't draw the sales and things like that they were looking for with that car. It was very unappreciated at the time, and that's why they kind of stopped making it. But I'm gonna say this, like, even though I like Dodge and things of that nature, I do feel like if if Ford does go the route and make this four-door Mustang a reality, they will probably have one of the hottest selling cars since the Dodge Charger, to be honest, when it comes to four-door V8 sedans. Like I said, practicality is going to be there. A lot of people that wouldn't buy a Mustang will buy a Mustang now because of the fact that you have four doors. You have the ability to use the car as like a family or whatnot. Not a big family, but you can at least carry a couple more people with you versus having a two-row coupe Mustang, right? But again, it goes back to the price point. As long as the car is priced appropriately, I would say that would be the second wave of the Dodge Charger for sure. And pretty much that Ford is going to show kind of what the Dodge Charger should have been. Even if they, they got the 10-speed transmission, which is something that the Charger and Challenger never had. They put that into that four-door sedan. Now you got a car that's going to have more power than the Scatpack. That's going to be more than likely accelerate quicker than the Scatpack, depending on how heavy they make this car, how big they make the car. More than likely, Ford is going to try to make the car, keep it as small as possible, keep it as light as possible, things like that. But you're going to have a car that can mod really well and everything. Pretty much everything you'll look for in a car, and that car will be in everybody's hands, almost guaranteed. And that is going to wrap up today's video, man. Just wanted to kind of share my spiel on that whole four-door Mustang, which honestly, I could see a lot of people switching over to that if that car does come out and it's priced right. I mean, Dodge isn't going to offer any more V8 sedans, so they're dead. Chevy doesn't have anything like that. And your other options outside of that are going to be much more expensive. So if Ford jumps into that game and they do it right, they will make a killing with this four-door Mustang, whatever they want to call it. I think they talked about calling it the Mach 4 or whatever they decide to call it, man. It will sell well. But if they definitely keep the Mustang name to it, it will sell tremendously well. I know a lot of people are not going to like it being called a Mustang, but for the bottom dollar, for the money Ford can make from that, it'll be worth it. So let me hear your thoughts in the comments below, how you feel about a four-door Mustang. You hear what I think. I think it'd be dope, honestly. Would I get rid of my Charger for a four-door Mustang? I don't think so, man. I don't know. I don't think I would. I mean, I still got to see how it looks, but I've never been a Ford guy, right? I never had anything against it, but it's not like a car that I would say I gotta get me a Ford, type of thing. So, but let me know what y'all think. Y'all may think different on that. And if you made it this far in the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do a lot of car related things on this channel. Catch you on the next video. We're out. Cut it.